Come on, Fitzy.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It's the 21st of August, 2024. It's 11 a.m. Central European time, and we don't just have a busy stream today, we have a busy day today. Tonight at 7 p.m., which is 8 hours from now, we will have our Chronos night. There will be $100 given away in Fortune Favors the Brave token and Moon tokens, and that will be given away on the night. Okay, so whatever you are doing tonight, cancel the plans. If you're going to watch Coronation Street or Home and Away or whatever the other soap operas you watch on a Wednesday night, cancel them all. Tune in to us tonight at 7 p.m. It will last about an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to talk you through the new blockchain, the Kronos ZK blockchain. We're going to talk you through it. Then we're going to give you an example of a DEX. Then we're going to give you an example of a community coin over there. And then we're going to do the giveaway. There will be several prizes given away at the end of the stream. If you're an OG member, you are entered twice into the draw. So if you're an OG member, like Kishan, like Chris, like the others, you will be entered twice as many chances to win. That's tonight. Now today, we have got a lot to get through. Bitcoin has done kind of what I said it was going to do. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do the markets, of course, first, then some X-Files, then the US dollar. What were we talking about last week and the week before? We started to look at the Dixie, and I said I would look at the Dixie every few days because it's breaking down. Now the press and the media has started to catch up with that. We're going to look at the Solana ETFs, which is the title of the day. Oh, Sol off. Stark staking, Starknet, we don't really talk about it a lot on here. It was more of an airdrop for ETH stakers, but they are about to introduce staking. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over some breaking news. Our sponsor is, of course, Mew, a cat in a dog's world. We have some news from them. If we find news on X, we'll put it in the show. I'm not contractually obliged to put that in, but I thought it was worth a comment. We're going to look at AI tokens again. Has the market started to cool down? And we're going to finish with games. Illuvium has spoken, and the CEO has said something. Where are all the games? That's what he said. So we're going to go over that as well. And of course, we're going to go, we've got the Q&A at the end. Anything you want me to look at the end of the show, ask away. And for Mags, if Mags and Danny are watching, they won a very small prize, admittedly, but they won a Mew giveaway. We had a cryptic clue on, I think, Monday, which was Wake Me Up When September Ends. And they both guessed it, and they both got their Mew this morning. A lot later than I planned, but it takes a lot of time to do this, believe it or not. I don't just come on here and talk randomly for an hour. I do try and keep on top of what we are doing. So we're going to get into it. Let's begin first by having a look at the markets. Bitcoin is starting to come down a touch. We're at 59.4 now. It's down nearly 1% in the hour. Again, nothing to write home about. Ethereum has broken below $2,600. BNB is BNB. Solana is still at $143. That's becoming more of a stable coin than a cryptocurrency. XRP holding on for dear life to 60 cents. Toncoin is at $6.66. If you like numerology, you won't like that. Doge is holding on to 10 cents. And Tron is keeping up appearances. We're going to go over Tron at some point, maybe this week or next. They are starting to make moves. And like I said, I will pivot if something changes. And Tron is starting to change. So we're going to go and have a look at that. What's up then in the last 24 hours? BitTorrent is up. Tron, Polygon. Remember, we covered the news yesterday. Polygon is becoming Pol on September the 4th or September the 5th. Basically 2 weeks from now. You won't have to do anything if you have your Matic staked. So if you are on a centralized exchange, you won't have to do anything. They will automatically convert it. But there will be a bit of a delay if you are staking it. What will happen is you will get the Pol swap, but the emissions, the staking rewards, there's going to be a bit of a lag, and I think there's a period of about 2 weeks where you won't be able to stake and then you won't be able to claim. I don't know, but anyway, it's only for a short period of time. Aave is up 6%, Avalanche is up 5%, Arweave, eCash, a few gainers and not too many losers. Brett has retraced a bit, but I don't really care. It did go up 35 to 40% yesterday. It's come down 13%. It's a profit take. I don't blame them for doing that. Sui is down 5, Litecoin 5, Jasmy 4.6, Potenza, Pepe. Ondo is back at 67 cents. It's an absolute steal. I am not going to keep telling you about Ondo, but what I will do is I am going to tell you I told you so when Ondo is back up at $2, because Ondo isn't going to be down there much longer. Once we break out of where we are going to be heading north. Now that might be October, yes, but that still only gives you 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I told you last week you only had 6 or 7 weeks. This week you've only got 6 weeks left, 5.5 weeks left. Don't fade these projects because their prices are down. This is a good time to get into these projects. Bonk at 1.2 billion is a good price. At 720 million, 86 cents per Mantra token. Incredible value. Yes, speculative, but still a good price. Dog with Hat at 150. I think that's overly cheap. DYDX, I'm thinking anywhere between 90 cents and $1 is a good price to get in on that. So there's lots of bargains to be had. Don't be shaken out by this. It feels like a year. It's only been, I think, about 3 or 4 months. We've been stuck in this range for so long. It just feels like Groundhog Day. I could just play a stream from a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and probably, apart from the date in the top left-hand corner, most of you wouldn't know because it's the same kind of news. Market cap still 2.11 trillion. 24-hour volume still 60s. Not too good. When that starts to get back up towards 100 billion, then we're really rocking. Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance, still coming in about 71%. And apparently there's no gas fees on Ethereum, which I don't believe. I also don't believe that the Fear and Greed Index is 45. I'm sure it's 29. I'm sure of it. I've specifically looked it up to try and find a way for you to see the real number. And I will add it in the show. Something else to add, that Launch Pool will be adding dogs, DOGS, from the 23rd. I'm probably going to make a video about it tomorrow. Plan B, periodic reminder, you can't keep the ball underwater forever. Mt. Gox, and it's 140,000 Bitcoin. German government, 50,000 Bitcoin. UK government selling 10,000. The minor capitulation, it's all over. And you might be looking at $25,000 or $30,000 for Bitcoin. It isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. Yes, I think September is going to be a red month. Yes, I think 52 to 55,000 is on the cards for Bitcoin, but we're at 58. I mean, it's a $3,000 move, $4,000 move. It's nothing. Wait until we see the fireworks towards the end of this year. That is what we are expecting to see. It's happened in the last 3 cycles. There is nothing to suggest it's not going to happen now. And like I say, when we're below the bull market support band, where we are now, it feels like it's never going to happen. Bitcoin is going to rip, and you are all going to be left either with packed bags, or you're going to be left on the station and the train has left. Okay? I'm telling you now, I think you've got 6 weeks. Next week, I'm going to tell you you've got 5 weeks. Okay? It's a countdown to October. Dan, crypto trades, Bitcoin lower highs and mostly higher lows. Big move up from the lows this month, but also trending down on the higher time frames. And if we zoom out to the monthly, it's still an uptrend, as mixed as it can get. So what do you think, my fellow financial analysts, up or down? And there we have, we have the same kind of charts. We will look at them in a bit. But as far as I'm concerned, where are we going to go? Are we going up or are we going down? Well, I think, and the number of people watching the show is a good indicator of this. If you look at the number of people that are watching this live right now, I think we're coming in about 10. Today we're at 10. Maybe we've not hit the algorithm, I don't know. On a good day, it's 30, 40, 50. We're nowhere. Retail has left. When it's depressing and boring, that's when you get the max pain moves. Now, we have an awful lot of liquidity at $60,500. So where do I think we're going to go in the next 48 hours? 60,500. Then what's going to happen is we're going to have max liquidity at $59,000. And guess what we're going to do then? Straight back down to $59,000. We've been in this range forever. Or what feels like forever. We are going to look at the Bitcoin chart in a bit. But I mean, come on. It's just boring summer, Reza, if you're out there. It's a boring summer. Nothing's happened. And of course, we don't just cover crypto. Sometimes we throw in a bit more news. Gold has passed $2,500 for the first time ever. Congratulations to Peter Schiff on his massive 30% total return over 13 years. Sadly, he underperformed inflation, so this means absolutely nothing. However, I am not going to look at that. I am going to look at the fact that gold is at all-time highs. That's not normally a good sign. It's normally a sign that the markets are expecting some real volatility. Now then, dogs, I'm going to make a video. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but I am going to make a video about dogs. I did go and try and work out how you could claim dogs. You have to go and do some missions on Telegram. So I'm not going to do that because it just won't make a very good video. But it has been added to the launch pool, so I am going to cover dogs. Now, again, be very, very careful when people talk to you about where the price of dogs is going to go. I'm going to give you a heads up. There is no way on sweet baby Earth we are going to 10 cents. Okay, that's 55 billion. It ain't going to happen. Okay. What I think will happen if it goes to the same max FOMO that everything else goes to, I think it could top out at 1 cent. And if you get anywhere near a cent for it, you sell. Okay. I think it will be below 0.001. Okay. I think it might come in at a $200 million, $250 million market cap for this coin. If you look at some of the coins that we've covered on here, they have, you know, look at Dog with Hat. That went to a $6 billion market cap. So it's doable with max FOMO. What I'm saying is, if you are given, or you receive, or you have 50,000 dog tokens, and you've got the chance to sell them at a cent, that's going to give you $550. Okay? It won't stay at that price forever. Nothing can sustain that price. It is not going to be a $5.5 billion market cap. And just to put that into context, the way I always look at these things, rightly or wrongly, and again, you can always have your own opinion, Toncoin has a 16 billion market cap. That is the chain. Okay? Solana has a $66 million market cap. No meme coin on either of those two chains is going to go higher than the market cap of the chain it's on. So anybody telling you it's going to 55 million is basically telling you it's going to become the 4th largest cryptocurrency in the world. It is pie in the sky, it is nonsense, and it is irresponsible. And yes, he might be doing it just to show you the different prices, but it's still foolish because people are going to look at that and say it's going to 10 cents. I think you're going to be lucky if you sell it for a cent. So make sure if you get some, get out. Take your money and run to safety. Sell to Bitcoin, sell to Ethereum, sell to Solana, even sell to fiat. Take your money and run. Right then, very quickly then. We told you a few weeks ago, probably about here, that we wanted our good friend, the DXY, to top out and get rejected by this line. We told you up here we wanted it to get rejected by the bull market support band. Okay, so we are 2 for 2. We also wanted it to come down into this range here. If I make it a bit smaller, you'll be able to see it probably better. This range here, which again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not very good at drawing. Look what we did. Look what we did. My horrible circle that was drawn. We broke below my horrible circle and we've come back to touch it. 101.5, lower than I expected. I didn't think we'd see 101.5. I certainly don't think we're going to break 100. So what that means depending on where obviously the market goes. We can crash, of course we can crash. It's been below 100 here before. If we wanted to look further down here, that would be 100.86. Would that be a bottom? Can we go lower? Well, if we go back to July last year, for example, when we started our trend line, we were coming in at 99.6. So we're not talking massive differences in terms of numbers. 99.6, 100.4, 101.5. They're not huge differences. But we are talking about the American dollar, so it's never going to move that badly. So we've got a few price points. I don't think we're going to come down there. If we keep coming down, 100.87. And I've drawn this line in here, this blue line. I've no idea why this blue line is here. It could mean absolutely anything. So let's just move it along a bit. That's when I think the bull market support band is going to begin. That's when I think we're going to start to move back up and try and break the bull market support band on Bitcoin. So if we want to do that, what we really want to see is we just want to see it doing that. If we see a reversal and this starts to do this, and starts to go up this way and breaks through this band here, then that's not too bullish for Bitcoin. We want a weak Dixie for Bitcoin to absolutely pump. So keep an eye on that. Now we are going to move on to talk about the dollar, because that's what we do. What time is it? 11:17. We're not doing too badly for time. Dollar sinks to yearly lows as markets eagerly await rate cuts. What happens with rate cuts? Everybody thinks you have more money to spend, including myself. If you listen to the experts, they will tell you that it's because the money printer gets turned back on. And that's probably a better argument than the one I've got. I like to see it for the fact that lower interest rates means lower mortgage repayments, lower loan repayments. Businesses can go and borrow more money, which means they can employ people and it stimulates the economy. Other people will say lower interest rates means money printer go burr. And again, maybe it's a combination of the two. So the dollar has gone to its lowest level this year, hitting a point that hasn't been seen since January. They are betting big that the Fed Reserve is about to start cutting interest rates. Now, today and Friday, we have two important things about to happen. Today, we see the Fed minutes, and Friday, Chairman Powell speaks. I think interest rates are going to be cut this month, 0.25 basis points, I think, not 0.5 as everybody wants, including me. And what will that do? It will stimulate the economy. Bitcoin will probably start to top out in terms of dominance, and the alts will start to run. So you should start to see some green days on your alts above and beyond what we've got. The American currency has dropped 2.2% this month as markets recover from the chaos that August brought with it. This decline comes as the S&P has almost bounced back from the losses. Fear of recession gripped the market, but those fears seem to be easing as more solid economic data emerges. And again, we hear Powell talk about this soft landing. The soft landing. We're going to get a soft landing. We're not going to have a hard landing. And what he's trying to say there is, even though the economy will not grow an awful lot, it will not shrink an awful lot, and it might go to 0 or 0.1 or 0.2% growth, but it won't go into the negatives. That's what a soft landing is. That's what he wants. Now, Friday, there is a symposium at the Jackson Hole. Doesn't that sound nice? Jay Powell, isn't he called Jerome Powell? He's very friendly. The market is currently pricing in 3 or 4 quarter point cuts by the end of the year. I don't think we've got September, October, November, and December. I don't think we're going to see 3 or 4. I'd be very happy with 2. After strong retail sales figures came out, there's been renewed confidence that a recession isn't as close as everybody feared. So the dollar is weak, and we want it weak so we can see Bitcoin rally. Bitcoin has a lot of correlations to traditional finance than the S&P and the DXY, and you can map them on top of each other. DXY goes down, Bitcoin goes up. DXY goes up, Bitcoin goes down. There's a lot of correlation. Bitcoin doesn't live in a vacuum. And before we go on, we're very quickly going to go and look at the Bitcoin chart, because, and again, I feel like a stuck record, and the people who've been watching me every week will know exactly exactly what we have been talking about. Now, I said that I do not see a reason for us to start to break up yet. And given that September is traditionally a bad month, I'm putting my target at 54,000. The bottom here currently is 56.2, which isn't too far down. Now, I also said that what we would see is this kind of price action. That's what I was expecting to see. Now, we have started to break out of this downward channel, but we just have so many other things to get to. We've got to break 61,200. We didn't do that. We got rejected for what seems like the 100th time. So we can't get back above the bull market support band. We're in this downward channel. There's no way out of it as far as I'm concerned at the minute. We are going to keep ranging between, I think, what's the range at the minute? Probably the bottom of this range is 56.2 to 59. That's the range. And if we go any higher, it's 61. And we've been here. I mean, look how long we've been in this range. If we really, really zoom out, and yes, you can, you know, we're so back, we're going to zero. We are so back, we're going to zero. We are so back, we're going to zero. You see, it doesn't matter. You zoom out. We've been in this ridiculous range since. We broke into this range on March the 1st. Let's call it March the 1st. March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months. 6 months you've had me sitting here telling you, we have to break this. We have to have support at this. We have to break this. And it's like a constant range that we're in. And we haven't broken out yet. And we're still stuck here. So I think we're going to come down in September. This pink line here, that is when I think we're going to start to move up. So what could happen is this. Okay, and then maybe we start to really move on, finally break above previous all-time highs, hopefully sometime in December, and go into the new year at hopefully 75,000, 80,000, 85,000 again. The longer this goes on, the further into 2025 I think the bull run is going to go. So I still think October, November. Everybody that has been saying April and May is now saying August. So they're starting to shift. How do we get to $240,000 if we're at $70,000 in December? It's too much of an ask. So they're starting to shift their stance. Whereas I am going to try and stick to my October, November. Now, this was bad news, and this, of course, is the theme of the show today. And that is very simple. Solana ETFs have faced a setback as the US SEC has rejected the 19 B4 applications. Not good news for Solana, but is this a bump in the road, or is this the end of the line? The Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs got approved. Didn't expect the Ethereum ETF to be approved at all. However, the Solana ETFs have started to be approved in different parts of the world. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Brazil approved their first one a couple of weeks ago. It's approved a second Solana ETF this week. This week there's a second Brazil Solana ETF. Now you can laugh and say it's Brazil. Yeah, it's Brazil. Then it'll be Canada. Then it might be Hong Kong sometime towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. And then America will lag behind yet again. So they've rejected the two 19B4 applications. And this was on behalf of VanEck and 21 shares. Good morning, In the Know. The decision came after discussions with the issuers focusing on concerns that Solana should be classified as a security. The SEC has reiterated its stance that Solana should be classified as a security in multiple court cases. Now, again, this was one of the reasons I didn't expect Ethereum to be approved. I expected Ethereum to be rejected for this reason. Now we're in a situation where we've got a proof of work ETF, Bitcoin. We have a proof of stake ETF, which is Ethereum. And then we have Solana's application being rejected because it's being classified as a security. Now, there is an argument that Ethereum was proof of work, and therefore it spent, what has it been around for 6 years? It spent 4 years, 4.5 years being proof of work and 1.5 years being proof of stake. So maybe the way it was distributed at the beginning is classified differently to the way that Solana is. Solana has had backers and investors the same way a company has seed capital. So maybe that's the reason. Irrespective, they have been turned down. Due to the SEC's rejection of the forms, they never entered the Federal Register, effectively halting the process before it even began, which led to the withdrawal of the forms from the CBOE's website. 21 Shares and VanEck are the companies currently trying to get the Solana ETFs. VanEck's S1 form remains active, with the company's head of research, Matthew Siegel, confirming that it remains in play. It's worth noting that VanEck thinks Sol is a commodity, similar to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum. While the 19B4 rejections were a setback, it could be refiled or amended with stronger arguments that Solana is not a security. He's explained that the belief is informed by evolving legal perspectives, where courts and regulators have begun to recognise that certain crypto assets may function as securities in primary markets, but behave more like commodities in secondary markets. He also underscored that over the past year, Solana has made substantial progress in decentralisation. We remain committed to advocating this position. Then, of course, we have the Brazilian court. 2 weeks ago, they approved the first Solana ETF, and they've approved a second one in the last 24 hours. Now, this might sound a little bit contentious, but I do believe that Solana is a security, and I do believe that it is a VC-backed blockchain. Does that change my opinion of Solana being an asset that you should hold? No, it doesn't. Do I think that this is the end of the road for Solana and it's going to go to zero? No, I do not. Solana has to get itself into a position where it can demonstrate that it is not a VC-backed private firm. Now, irrespective of that, we have the DeFi, we have the NFTs, we have the meme coins, we have the volume, we have the users, we have a roadmap, we have everything you want from a blockchain for it to work. So objectively, I don't have an issue with Solana and holding Solana the same way I don't have an issue holding Ethereum, even though it's so tightly tied to Vitalik, which I think is ETH's major flaw. The problem is that Vitalik is ETH's kryptonite, and he goes, Ethereum is going to really suffer. With Solana, if Anatoly steps down, I don't think that would be the end of Solana as much as it would be the end of the world for the ETH maxes. What I think is going to happen now that this has been rejected, I think we're not going to see a Solana ETF this side of March, April next year. I think Trump is going to come into power. People like Cynthia Lummis around him are going to start working on the reserve. They're going to replace Gary Gensler. He will be stepping down. He won't be fired on day one, as Trump calls. The head of the SEC is appointed by the President of America. When the President of America is confirmed and he is, whatever it's called, that thing that they do in February, whenever he stands there and he's sworn in, the head of the SEC hands in his resignation. That's what happens. So Trump is not telling the whole truth there. If Hester Peirce is given control of the SEC, she will change the way that the SEC handles cryptocurrencies. And that doesn't mean that every Tom, Dick and Harry is going to have an ETF. It means she will look at them in a different light. And I would believe that the likes of Solana and XRP and maybe Chainlink will start to be viewed as commodities and have their own ETFs. And at that point, the conversation needs to be, how many ETFs are too many ETFs? The same way we were talking about NFTs 2 or 3 years ago, we were saying, When are too many NFTs too many NFTs? Because there were projects coming out of the wazoo. Meme coins is the same. How many meme coins do we need? How many meme coins are going to come into existence and survive? Less than 1%, probably 0.01%. And you will probably get 1 to 3 solid meme coins per blockchain. That's it. With the ETFs, the way I think it should work, and again, who am I, is you should have the top 3 or 4. Then you should have a basket of ETFs. So you could have a DeFi or a DEX ETF that is permitted to hold the likes of Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Radium, Orca. That would be a way I would do it. Otherwise, we're going to have dilution upon dilution upon dilution, and we're going to end up with 500 ETFs, of which 400 aren't worth holding or trading. So this is a setback, but for me, it's not a massive setback. If this goes to March next year and it's not approved, then my target for Solana will no longer be $1,000 and it will be $500 to $600. And that's just the way it is. And it's going to potentially cause short-term price action. But if we look over the last few days, Solana hasn't tanked. Why hasn't Solana done this? Why hasn't it broken down on the news that its ETF has been rejected? Answer that. Is it because investors still have the amount of faith in it that everybody else has? Right then, very quickly, must remember to not minimize the actual browser screen that I'm using. Now, again, I don't expect you to read all this, and I'm not going to read it all out. This is the flowchart showing how the Solana ETF filings never made it past step 2. So the exchanges withdrew the 19 B4s, although the issuers are still active. A snowball's chance in hell of approval unless there is a change in leadership. There we go. So there are 7 steps which take various amounts of time. It didn't even make it past first base. So I think that sums up the issue. So what they're telling you there, in my opinion, very simply, is we're not going to see a Solana ETF until next year. Maybe even June or July. The question you need to ask yourself is, if this isn't approved, sharpish, as in March, is it going to cause the price to be suppressed and not hit where we want it to go? Or the other option, if it's approved in April or May next year, is it going to give a blow-off top to Solana? Or if it is approved, are we going to see yet another grayscale dump on the market where Solana is at $500 or $600 and grayscale's dumping brings it down to 400? I don't know the answer, but this does change my long-term price on Solana. It was 1,000. I now think it's about 600, and that's a 4x from where we are, which then brings it back into the pack. Where we are now, I'm not expecting more than a 4x or a 5x from most of the top coins. So, for example, I'm looking at maybe 10 or 12,000 for Ethereum from here. I'm maybe looking at 150 to 200,000 for Bitcoin. BNB isn't going to go anywhere; it never does. So maybe 1,500 to 2,000. Solana, as it is now, maybe about $600. It's still a great return. It's still a great return. Now then, we're going to move on. How long do we have left? 25 minutes, and we've got 4 articles. Crikey. Never give myself enough time. Okay, Starknet eyes STRK staking launch through community vote. Starknet proposes the STRK staking as the first item on the network's inaugural community voting system. It's a very nice picture. He looks a lot like John Wick. Anyway, Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution Starknet announced on Tuesday a plan to launch staking. A key milestone, it's proposed a community vote. In an X post on August the 20th, which was yesterday, it said introducing staking would boost the security, decentralization and efficiency and incentivize participation in a democratically governed ecosystem. While all effects might not be immediate, step by step, Starknet moves closer to its vision of decentralization. Was Tony Stark's company called Starknet from Iron Man? I'm not really a big Marvel character, but I've just realized it's called Stark, isn't it? It's the only layer 2 to announce and implement staking so far. Users can participate in the program by running a full node with a minimum of 20,000 or delegate their tokens to a staker via the UI or selected decentralized apps. Noting that Starkware, the project's foundation, and locked tokens won't participate in the initial staking, we know this. With the program's first phase launch on mainnet slated for October, Starknet invited holders to vote on 2 critical elements. So again, I've got Stark because I was airdropped it from staking my Ethereum a very long time ago. So I hold Stark. If you want to see the price action, it's not been great. I think it's down maybe 66%. And I'm certainly not advising anybody to go and buy it based on this news. Let's have a little look. I don't think I've ever looked at this chart. Yeah, I think it's down some serious amount. It might actually be down more. So it's gone down from 2, so it's lost 80% of its value. And again, I am not telling anybody to go and buy this token when it has done that. I mean, that is, it's due a breakout. We could say that. But I think the selling pressure, most airdrop tokens suffer from, you could argue, the sell pressure of people just dumping their tokens. I didn't sell it because it was free and I was airdropped it, so I kept hold of it and I thought, you know what, if it goes to 0, it doesn't cost me anything. At some point, it might start to do this. Yes, it might do. But again, I'm not advising anybody to buy it. If you've been airdropped it and the idea of staking it appeals to you, then go ahead and stake it. But for me, I wouldn't go and buy any more of this token for now. It's in a very competitive field. We're going to do the Kronos stream tonight. Kronos ZK is the first layer 2 Ethereum virtual machine ZK chain. So it's a big one. You've then got other EVMs. You've then got other layer 2s. You have a lot of competition around Ethereum. Starknet's going to have to do a lot more. Now, staking does take the tokens out of circulation. And that, when we look at BNB introduced 30, 60 and 120-day staking. That made a massive difference to the price. It sucked the BNB off exchanges and into the locks. So it can make a difference, and it will make a difference in the future. Now then, Mew. The Solana meme coin Mew's World partners with Encore to enter the esports and gaming space. Read the full press release. Now, just a heads up, I'll go back to before we became sponsored by Mew, to the original video that I made. There is a couple of meme coins, especially those in Asia, which have developed what I would consider to be fairly substantial roadmaps. And those roadmaps include real-world applications, as well as other elements such as comics, games, being involved in animations and things like that. So there's a few of them. It's not just Mew, there's a couple of them. But Mew was the one I really liked. Now, they're still a $400 or $500 million project. They're still going to continue to do well. They're certainly going to hit $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion in the bull run, as will a lot of other coins that I've mentioned, like Brett and Popcat. But I understand Mew. I understand where it's trying to become a cultural thing rather than just a meme coin. And Brett has to prove that. Bonk has proved it. So has Pepe. So has Shib. They've proved it. And some of these coins have to go through this ritual of getting to the point of being sort of like techie household names. So everything like this should be applauded. They have partnered with Encore to enter the esports and gaming space. So what they're going to try and do is become the most viewed meme coin in the esports world. So they're going to sponsor Encore. And hopefully, through that, they will drive more people into buying meme coins. People buy meme coins for totally different reasons that you go and buy Ondo, or you go and buy Ethereum, or you go and buy Solana. They buy it because it's cutesy and it's fun. And I think that's going to be how it works in the bull run, when we see the likes of Bonk that's sitting on the likes of Revolut, which isn't an exchange, it's a bank, and you can buy Bonk directly from your wallet. So I think being in front of retail when the bull run comes is going to mean you're going to be bought. And I've said this 1,000 times about ASI token, which is FET, Singularity, and Oceans. When you sit down and when you look at 3 or 4 different AI tokens, because your mates in the pub have told you to go and buy it, what you're going to see: Render, Near, ASI, Artificial Super Intelligence. Which one are you going to buy? It sounds really base. That's how it works. When you go to look at meme coins, you're going to say the same thing. Which meme coins are up there? Which ones have I heard of? Which ones have I seen before? And that's why these types of collaborations are always going to work in the long term. Why do you think certain exchanges sponsor large sporting locations? Right then, moving on. Is the AI bubble bursting? How long do we have left? 20 minutes. Decent amount of time. When enthusiasm in AI has cooled, the underlying tech continues to improve and gain adoption. What comes next? Remember the good old days of late 2023 when AI coins and stocks were the hottest thing? Those days are gone for now. The market cooled its jets, leaving many investors wondering if the whole AI thing was just a flash in the pan. Let's get rid of that. It's easy to get caught up in the pessimism. Even the mighty Nvidia stock price has stumbled, but they are doing their earnings report. Is it in about 10 days' time, I think? 10 days from now, I think we're going to see that. If the switch to our techno-optimistic glasses for a moment, we'll see that while investor enthusiasm in AI has cooled, the underlying tech continues to improve and gain adoption. After a euphoric sprint, AI hardware and infrastructures like Nvidia, Dell, are experiencing a cooling off period. Now, again, this does apply to crypto. So although it's talking about traditional stocks, you have to look at the market as a whole. I talk about decoupling a lot, decoupling of different crypto assets from the main market, especially when you look at real world assets. So if you look at Ondo, Mantra, Maple Finance, those types of projects, when they're deriving their income from the assets associated with real world assets, it should be an opportunity for you to get discounted stocks or discounted assets if they still are attached to the price of Bitcoin. But the decoupling event will happen. And some of the big ones that we've talked about on here are real world assets and AI. At some point, they're going to decouple from crypto because they're not the same. All of crypto is not the same. The reason it's like this is very simply because Bitcoin is 55, nearly 60% of the total crypto market. So we've got market jitters around it. We've got Google AI, OpenAI. We know all about that. Profit growth is increasingly accruing to a handful of AI infrastructure firms, which are the recipients of heavy spending by AI implementation firms. And again, Deepin does cross over into this as well. If you look at the likes of IONET, which is on Solana, I think that's going to do exceptionally well because they've taken their data center elements and moved them, and they are now aligning themselves with the AI projects. We talked about the miners a few days ago. What are the miners doing? They're starting to look at providing processing power for AI. So they're going to use arbitrage to decide whether to mine Bitcoin or provide AI. So AI is starting to consume the power, the CPU, the GPU usage of lots of different services. And as we've said before, there are not enough GPUs in the world to hit the targets that some of these AI firms are talking about. If that's the case, buy stocks in Nvidia because they're just going to keep going up for the next 2 years. Retention rates of AI products are soaring. Companies are no longer treating AI as a passing fad. Only 40% of businesses a year ago had AI products. Today, that's 70%. Remember, it will be nowhere, then everywhere all at once. That statement applies to so many things in life. The internet, cryptocurrency, AI. It's nowhere, then everywhere all at once. At some point, you're going to wake up one morning in the near future and you're going to be able to trade stocks 24/7 on any stock exchange anywhere in the world. And then you're going to look back at days like today where the American stock market doesn't open for another, 4 hours? The UK stock market closes in 4 hours. The Asian markets don't open for 11 hours, 12 hours. You're going to look back and think, I can't believe we operated on 8-hour days, 5 days a week. The same way that little old ladies used to go around and shoot stones at your windows to wake you up in the morning in Victorian England. That's what it's going to be like when we look back and see how far we've come. So the market is poised to grow. The global generative AI market is projected for exponential growth over the next decade, where they are expecting it to go from 40 billion 2 years ago to 1.3 trillion in about 8 years' time. I think it's going to be a lot bigger than that in a few years' time. Now, AI in crypto. VCs are betting on crypto and AI. The sector has managed to secure $450 million this year. But if we're being honest, most crypto projects don't really need AI, and most AI projects wouldn't benefit from being bolted onto a blockchain. It's a case of two great tastes that don't always make great milkshake. I don't agree with that, but I'm going to get to that when we get to the end. Beneath the surface of this crypto AI chaos, there are genuine sparks of promise. Core values of crypto can help AI become more fair, transparent, and community-owned and built. On the flip side, AI can help improve the user experience in crypto and make things more efficient through agents. So, we don't need to read any more about that. AI still has mindshare and buzz. But let's call a spade a spade. The CryptoX landscape is like a high-stakes poker game with plenty of rug pulls and empty promises. Yeah, I suppose at the lower end. The potential rewards for this high-risk, high-reward CryptoX AI arena make it undeniably captivating space. Okay, let's just cut to the chase. When you buy any project in any market in crypto, you should be looking at, let's bring up the article for the next thing, and then let's go very quickly to have a look at this. I do not know where everybody has gone today. There's literally nobody watching. The only thing I can think of is that the stream didn't get whatever it's called sent out. It's really, really quiet today. Like really, really quiet. Like 80% down. AI and big data. Okay, let's look at this category. So, we talk a lot about rug pulls and we talk a lot about failed projects. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. How long do we have left? 10 minutes, perfect. There's a few things you can do to avoid being rugged in any category. And very simply put, there is very little chance of you being rug pulled by a project with a market cap above roughly $800 million to $1 billion. Simply put, it would be so centralized that it would be difficult to rug pull at that price. So whenever you're looking at any category, hello, Fran. Yeah, you know what though? I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. I'm hoping people are saving themselves for tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's get back to this. Whenever we go through what coins you should buy in any category, I am the most boring person to give you tips for 1000x gains. And it's very simply because I am never going to go down here and tell you that Sleepless AI or Node AI or Chain GBT, which I did hold at one point, by the way, I'm never going to go and say that you should go and buy those tokens, okay? What I will tell you to do, and this is the stage of the market where you've got to be super careful because we don't have a lot of time left. We've potentially got 12 months left, okay? When we started, this stream, doing a daily stream, especially, it was May last year. That was, 25 months ago, nearly 15 months ago, nearly a year and a half ago. We had all the time in the world. We had 2.5 years before the end of the bull run. Okay, we had plenty of things we could recommend, and we did. This is not the same as it was then. We're going into the final year of this bull run. Okay, next month, in 10 days' time, it's September. Then we're going to be in December, and then we're going to be in January, and then you really are going to be panicking if you've not packed your bags. So, to avoid some of the things mentioned in the article, and if you don't hold any AI stocks, okay, my advice, which is not financial, is you focus on the top chains now. Okay, we're not going to go and do TA on 20 AI tokens for you. We're going to tell you that if you don't have AI tokens, you should hold some of the top 5 or 10. So Near Protocol has ties to NVIDIA, so yes. ASI token, I have already said that should be $5. And that's not even $5 at the end of the bull run. That's $5 now or in the next 8 weeks. It's at 89 cents, okay? Injective, good project. Render, not a massive fan of it because I think it can have a lot of competition. Has ties to Apple, it will do well. The Graph, again, not a massive fan. I think Chainlink and Pi and others have snuck up and taken some of its market share. Okay, but still a decent token. IO's network, 43 cents. It's only 500 million. Okay, now after that, there are some good projects down here, but I'm not going to talk about any of them because you should, if you are not in crypto, you shouldn't be looking outside of what's on your screen now. IOs, Akash, Theta, Graph, Render, Injective, Bitenza, ASI, and Near. Okay, if you're new to crypto, and you have to remember there's potentially, at any one time, 500 projects you should be keeping an eye on if you were in this full time. You can't do that. That's why I say your portfolio should be 20 or 30 or 40 cryptos. That's it. I think I hold 15 to 20, and that's it. So much as I love Render, which I don't, but much as I love it, for argument's sake, I don't hold any. I haven't got any Graph, I've got no Theta, I've got no Akash, I've got a very small amount of Injective, I've got no Bitenza, and I hold the top 2. Okay? Now, I know Raoul Pal came out a few days ago and said there is no point in holding the old tokens. You know, don't hold the tokens that have been around for 5 or 6 years. Buy all the new tokens. Buy all the shiny new toys. And for me, I'm not going to agree with that. I understand where he's coming from entirely because they've got the FOMO, they've got the buzz around them, they've got the excitement. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, I know how Chainlink makes money. I know how some of these meme coins make money, like Bonk. They have a revenue model. Uniswap has been around for a long time. I know how it makes money. So if you know how a project makes money and in a bull run it will just make exponentially more money, why is he telling you to look at the new shiny coins? That's my problem with giving people that advice. I think, it could have been taken out of context. I haven't watched what he said. But to tell people not to hold XRP at this stage, when we know what XRP is going to do, again, I think is wrong and off the mark. I don't think XRP is going to be at 60 cents at the peak of the bull run. Now, it might not be at $5 or $6 like I expect. Maybe it's at $3 or $4. It's still a solid return. It's still a 5x from where we are now. So I think it's bad advice. But the good advice that I can give, or I think I can give, is look at the top end of any category. Real world assets. Another example, you hear people talking about it. What's at the top end of the real world assets section? AVAX, solid pick. Chainlink, solid pick. Ondo is 5th. Quant, nobody seems to want to buy Quant. Mantra, decent pick. And then we're getting down to coins that maybe at this stage of the market that we don't look at. Synthetics will do well, and I have a few of these coins down here as well, but as a newcomer to crypto, Avalanche, Chainlink, VeChain, Maker, Ondo, if you bought those 5, you should expect, you should expect those, but potentially you won't get them. You should expect 5 to 10x's on some of those coins. And Mantra could very well do 5 to 6 to 7x in this bull run as well. But again, the amount of time we've got left would make me think that we need to start scaling down where these prices of these coins are going to go. Now, finally, 1156, Illuvium founder Kieran Warwick asks, where are all the new Web3 games this year? NFT allow list to eliminate gaming bots and an official PGA Golf Tour game Web3 gamer. So Kieran Warwick, the co-founder of Illuvium, had an eye-opening moment this month when he suddenly realised how few Web3 games were launched this year. There should be more games out by now, although he adds that building good games takes time. Warwick knows firsthand how long, from his own experience building open-world fantasy battle and role-playing game Illuminum over the last few years, the highly anticipated game launched its beta version on July the 25th. We delayed our launch quite a few times and we're still only in open beta, meaning we plan to add many new features to our games over the next 12 months. It's not only big games to drop a taste of the action this year. The eagerly awaited blockchain-based extraction shooter game Shrapnel released early access gameplay back in Feb. The full game won't be out until 2025. Now, again, I'll go back to the statement that I made 2 or 3 weeks ago. This bull run is not going to work for gaming and in turn the metaverse. If you hold gaming tokens, if you hold metaverse tokens, ask yourself this question: what are they going to release between now and next summer that is going to make those coins pump? What is going to happen? Anything? You can look at the way that crypto is evolving in a case of like, now the grown-ups are involved. And what do the grown-ups want? They want finance. So you have DeFi, you have Ondo, you have the real world assets, you have tokenization. It's a grown-up conversation. AI is also a grown-up conversation. And can AI benefit from the blockchain? Absolutely. Decentralization, I think, is really important for AI because we don't want Google and Microsoft to dictate to us based on their political beliefs how AI should work. AI should be neutral. So you have grown-ups talking about finance, you have grown-ups talking about AI, you have grown-ups talking about real-world assets and tokenization. Then on the other side, what's the other biggest industry? Shopping. There's no point in having shopping on the blockchain, it's irrelevant. So the big push for metaverses, shopping isn't going to work. A housewife or house husband is not going to sit there with a headset on looking around at 3D models of a pair of shoes. They're going to go onto a website on the computer and look at them there. It's dead. Training is dead in the metaverse. There's no point. You've got Zoom. So they're out of the equation. So education probably doesn't need the metaverse. Shopping doesn't need the metaverse. Gaming. What games can benefit from being on the blockchain? There are quite a few different ways of looking at it. I think the way that gaming has gone has been the wrong way. They've targeted the wrong people. They've targeted kids. And kids are great because there's a lot of them and they all play Fortnite and they all play these things, but where's the Fortnite game? I said to the Oracle a few weeks ago, if I ran a software company or if I ran Microsoft, I would say, go and find me the 10 most famous and popular and most played games in the world over the last 18 months, find out what makes them popular, and make those 10 games for me. Now, what do we have that could possibly compare with what I've just said? We've got maybe Mario Kart Racing, maybe Fortnite, maybe Call of Duty, maybe that one where you build blocks with things, Minecraft, yeah. Maybe you've got an MMO like Warcraft or one of them. So they're the games that people play. Now, what do grown-ups play? What do the adults in the room play? The geeks play. They play MMOs. Where is the Web3 World of Warcraft? Where is it? Okay. You have Star Atlas, which is the closest and probably only game I have seen which actually uses the blockchain for what it's meant to be used for, which is the assets, the ships and the crew and everything else, skins, right? Name me another one. Name me a game that you have played on the blockchain. There isn't any. So why are we selling? Why are we buying gaming tokens? The only company apart from Star Atlas, which again I've said this many times, is Gala. Gala are trying to implement blockchain tech into existing games and allowing existing games to build on the blockchain. So they're trying, but they're not really getting anywhere at the minute because the CEO and the founder are fighting. But it's still a good project long term, just not now. So I'll go back to the question, what is going to drive Sandbox and Decentraland and other gaming cryptos? What is going to drive the price up between now and next, let's say October? I haven't got an answer to that question. And I want gaming to be a success, and of course I want it to work, but what's going to push it? What's going to give it the turbo boost? Because yes, we're going to see alts pump, and yes, Gala will probably go up 10x, and yes, Illuvium will probably go up 10x, and yes, they'll all gain 10%. Sorry, a 10x, not 10%. But at the end of the day, where's the value in that game? Where is the revenue being generated in that game? And I don't have the answer to that. Anyway, I'm going to go because we are live in 7 hours. So in 7 hours time, we're going to do our Chronos ZK giveaway night. We're going to give away the most we've ever given away on this channel. The previous record was $50. Tonight we're giving away roughly $100, maybe $105, maybe $98, probably $100 thereabouts. And we're going to give away Fortune Favors the Brave token, and we're going to give away Moon token. So do not forget to watch us in 7 hours time, because based on the number of people watching this, you've got a really good chance of winning. In fact, I think I might have to enter some of you twice just to make sure we've got enough people to give the prizes to, because we're down 80% on the viewers today. Again, I don't know why. So make sure you tune in tonight at 7 p.m. We're going to be on the usual channels. We're going to do the giveaway at the end. So the giveaway is likely to be at 8 p.m. We're going to start at 7, explain the competition, talk you through Chronos ZK, talk you through Wolf Swap, talk you through Wolf Swap, Fortune Favors the Brave. It is. I actually have the times up somewhere. If I go very quickly to show you, I'll bring it up very briefly. I'm going to have to be very careful with how I show this. So it's going to be 7 p.m. in Europe, 6 p.m. in the UK, and 5 p.m. UTC. That's what you need to. Worry about. So there we go. So it's called the Fright Night, and we have a nice grok generated image of a wolf for Wolf Swap and a spaceman for Fortune Favors the Brave, and that's me, by the way, talking and waving my hands. I have had a shave, by the way. So that's 7 p.m. Central European, 6 p.m. in the UK, 5 p.m. UTC, and 6 p.m. where Mags is. Yeah, you would be, wouldn't you? Because you're west of where we are. So yeah. Okay, so we'll see you tonight. Take care, everybody. Thank you to those that did show up. Thank you for coming. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, no, I might be back tomorrow. I'll decide tonight if we're going to do a show tomorrow because I'm going to be tired. So take care, everybody. See you tonight.